Hi, I'm JimmyNavio.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Hit the Bucket. For those who don't know me, I'm JimmyNavio. I'll bring on the rest of the folks here in a second, but per usual, I like to remind you guys that if you're listening out there on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, hitthebucket.com, friendly reminder, this is being recorded live on Twitch at twitch.tv/JimmyNavio. If you want to come participate in future podcasts, come join us. Come say hi. Also, don't forget, we do put these up on YouTube. And this is, honestly, this is an episode you're probably going to want to see. It's going to be awesome if you're listening, but it's going to be even more awesome if you watch it. Trust me. That's all I'm going to say. Go check it out. Also, friendly reminder, if you want to hit us up for any future guest opportunities, promotional deals, anything like that, we do have an email now. It is hitthebucketpodcast@gmail.com. And we got the new Hit the Bucket sweatshirt. We got some merch up for the official Hit the Bucket logo. So go check that out as well. I am super excited this week for our guest. It was very last minute, and I'm super glad that we were able to pull this together because my editor, Frost, was like, hey, I found this guy. We got to get him on the podcast. That's all he said. He sent me a link. He's like, you got to check this out. You got to see this guy. We got to get him on the show. And once I checked it out, I was like, oh, yeah, we got to make this happen ASAP. And luckily, we didn't have a guest yet for this week. So I think I've hyped him up enough. I'm super excited to bring him on. I'm going to go ahead and switch over here. And my co-host, James28, is with me. And then our guest for the evening is Mr. LarryIRL. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring them on. If you guys want to unmute yourselves. Whoop. There we go. How's it going?
Hello. I'm here too.
You are here. How's it going, man? You having a good night? Or it's like 1 PM there, right?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm doing good. Yes, and yourself, you're well?
Yeah. Had a good day at work. The weather's beautiful here in California. James, how's the weather there?
Bleak and dreary. It's about 40 degrees outside, and I gotta wear like 3 layers of clothing. But other than that, when the sunlight peeks through the clouds, it's beautiful.
It's wonderful.
And for those who don't know, LarryIRL, he dwells from that big rock in the ocean down there, down in Australia, down under.
Yeah, that's right. That's me.
He's
fighting land. He's made-up land of Australia.
It's not real. Just like no, it's very real.
We're all paid actors. Everyone knows it.
Gotta watch out for those drop bears, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I know some of your lore. So yeah, like I said, Larry, how long have you been streaming? Because you're fairly new to Twitch, right?
Yes, this is true. Not very long. Probably probably like 4 months, I'd say. 4 months. Ooh. That sounds about right.
That's really young.
Yeah. I mean, up until recently, I didn't even know what Twitch was. I did. I mean, I'd heard of it, of course. But besides knowing that it was like a live streaming platform for gaming and stuff like that, and other content, I didn't really visit it or know it or anything. So it's all still very fresh and new to me. But so far, I've really been enjoying it.
Well, you say you've been enjoying it. What's your favorite part of Twitch compared to like YouTube or other media platforms?
Well, definitely the live interaction. That part of it, I think, it's really unique. It's still I think really unique in media in general. This whole concept of interacting with people in real time is something that's new and exciting, and I think I really love it. I don't know about everyone else, but I find it exciting.
It's pretty impressive that it's only been 4 months, because in those 4 months, I feel like, like I said, I was told about your stream from Frost, and he was like, check this guy out. And I went and checked it out. And
Frosty. Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
you've already got like
You've got those connections.
you've got momentum. You've already got like a decent amount of viewers and followers. Like he was like he's growing pretty fast. It was I was not expecting you to say that you've only been streaming for 4 months. That's pretty awesome.
Well, I'm pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, but
Oh, humble
You
as
know-
well, huh?
no, but I mean, yeah, I really took a liking to it, and I do put a lot of work and a lot of effort into things, but I feel like it's I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I connect with people on some level, I think, and that really helps. And
Absolutely.
I try to do my best to, you know, I'm constantly trying to improve on things, trying to come up with new things, and I feel like that shows in the content that I produce, and hopefully people can, you know, get something out of that. And I feel like that's part of how I've got to where I am right now. Not that I've got very far, but you know what I mean, right?
So before Twitch, though, because a lot of the people that we have on the podcast, you know, they're Twitch streamers, but one of my goals is to kind of bridge the gap between Twitch and who you are. So, you know, you gave me some details, and there's a few details in there that I was really interested in. So I wanted to get a little deeper into some of that stuff, if you don't mind.
No, not at all. No, go.
You said I enjoy creative pursuits, food, travel, music, and meeting people. The one that stood out to me the most is travel. So I wanted to. I wanted to
That's
kind
the
of.
one I was hoping we weren't going to bring up. Okay, great.
You enjoy travel, or is that because you hope to travel more, or do you have you done a lot of travel?
Yes and yes. So I traveled a lot when I was younger, right? Back in my little Larry days.
Little Larry.
Yeah, back when I was a wee sock puppet. So yeah, I did a lot of traveling. My dad works overseas. He works on boats, and because of that, I got to travel and visit him a lot when I was younger. So I got to visit a lot of places, but also because I was so young, right? So being young, you don't appreciate the experiences that you get from visiting these great places, and so it's something I definitely want to do more of in the future. But you know, just life gets in the way and all that. So, but yeah, I still try and get around when I can. And there's still so many places out there to explore, and I just love it all. I love the culture. I love learning about the places. I love that aspect of travel, just the finding the little hidden nooks in places when you go visit the locals, getting to know the locals, and just getting away from the whole big touristy thing. And yeah, I enjoy that aspect of travel.
Awesome. So in your travels as a kid, I know you said you were a lot younger, but was there like a specific place that really stood out to you that like even today you're like, wow, I remember that, like, and I hope to someday go back there?
I mean, maybe there's 2 or 3 I think that stick out the most. The first one was when I was very young. I was only 6, and we went to Disneyland and we did Disney World, and you know, we did the whole you know, big thing. And it was funny, right? Because before this, I didn't even know what Disneyland or Disney World was. So they're like, "Hey, we're going here." I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool, sweet. That sounds fun. Let's do it." And then I got there. I was like, "Oh, okay. Now I see. Now I get it.
This is America.
This is America."
Wait, you said Disneyland and Disney World? You went to both?
Yeah, 100% both. We did it both in like way too short a time.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're on the opposite sides of the United States.
Yeah. Well, I have some distant family that live in South Florida. I don't know where, but they're there somewhere. And I've also got my dad travels a lot as well, and we made it a big deal, like a kind of a reunion, and get to see everyone and go to these places together. So it's nice, and that was kind of a big thing for me because it left an impression, being such a young boy in the big land of America. So I think that was the first one.
Nice.
Beyond that, I also went to Amsterdam when I was a bit older, and that was great for the obvious reasons. I was 16 at the time.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. And I don't know if you know this, but when you're 16 in Amsterdam, anything goes, right?
Right.
So I had a great time. That was, I mean, without going into too much detail, that was pretty great.
Say no more. I think we pick up what you're laying down.
But yeah, right. There's but another thing I liked about Amsterdam was, and it's the same. I mean, I was going to bring up this one next, but Vegas is another good example of this.
Yeah.
But the thing I love about these two places, they're famous for the reasons that we all know of.
Debauchery.
Yeah, right. But yeah, but they're famous for these reasons. But then there's also so much more to them, and it brings me back to the culture part. They've got all these great places, landmarks, little hidden oases, just these really cool things that beyond all the touristy bullshit, they have these really great things. And I've got one example. Oh, that's not a good example.
Oh, you already said it now.
Okay, well, I mean, it's a good example, but it's in a different place, so it doesn't really make sense. Oh wow, I'm rambling now.
Do it. We want to know.
We went. I lived in Barcelona. I don't know if you knew this.
Oh, okay.
For a good 10 months, and I was a bit older by this time. I was 18, and so fun. Living in Barcelona. First time really living out of home, and I chose to go to a country where I didn't speak the language, and I didn't have a job, didn't have anything. But it was still great. And I met up with some people. I eventually got a job working on the docks in a similar sort of job that my dad does. And I got invited out to go to this club. And I'm like, sweet, this sounds great. I like clubs. I like going out. I like people. Tick, tick, tick. And then I got there, and they're like, just meet us here at this Taco Bell kind of taco restaurant thing. I'm like, sweet. All right, I got there, and I messaged them. I'm like, hey guys, I'm here. Where are you? I'm standing out front, and nothing. They said, oh yeah, we're right here with you. You should be able to see us. I'm like, no, I don't. There's like one creepy old guy in the corner, guy behind the counter. That's it. I'm like, I must be at the wrong place. I sent them the address, and they're like, no, this is it. Go downstairs. Yeah, this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, keep going.
So yeah, I'm like, all right. So I went to the back of this dingy taco restaurant, and I get to the back, and it looks like a toilet. I'm like, this is. I need to reassess my priorities, my life choices here. And then I get there, and there's a bouncer standing, like, guarding this, what looks like a toilet. I'm like, oh, okay. And he asked me for ID. I said, sweet, I got some of that. Gave him that. And then we just went down this dark staircase. He led me down. I thought I was going to die.
as many people would think as they descend down a dark staircase.
Exactly, yeah. But, I was just going to roll with it. I got this far, You only get to do these things once.
I've seen the movie Hostel. I know where this is going.
Yeah, right. And but it was amazing. It was amazing. It opened up, and it was this beautiful like jazz club, and there's people just like doing the Amsterdam thing on these big couches. There's this music playing. It was great. It was this real chill, real amazing atmosphere, and we could eat tacos if we wanted to because there was a taco joint upstairs. And it was just great. And I loved that. I thought that was the most amazing thing I could ever experience. And it was just, that's what I look for now. Whenever I go anywhere, whenever I travel, that's what I try and find.
Those unknown little back corner spots that only locals probably know about. That's pretty cool.
You got to be told by a person that was told by someone else.
yeah, I never would have found that place otherwise, and
Right.
it was just so amazing.
So what about food? You mentioned food too. Are you a foodie? Do you like just trying anything? Is there a specific category or like country or you know what? Like when you talk about food, take me on that journey a little bit.
I mean, I just love food.
It's a very good reason.
Yeah, I thought so, and I love food in general, and so I try that part of the travel thing, experiencing the culture. I like trying new things, and I feel like just food is a great way to get a sense of a culture. A lot of cultures have very specific foods, and it's another great way to get to know the locals. It's just, I think that's part of the reason why I like it, and I just like to eat.
I mean, who doesn't like to eat, right? If you don't like to eat, I don't want to be your friend. So, you mentioned here that you play guitar.
Oh yes.
Is that something you say you're pretty proficient at? Is this a new hobby, or have you been doing that for a long time?
No, that I started that way back in my youth. My dad he also plays guitar. He's a big influence on my life. And yeah, I've been playing since as far back as I can remember. And music has been a big part of my life. I thought this is a funny story. I just told this the other day. And so when I was younger, music is a big part of my life. I always thought I was just going to be a famous musician. That was my goal.
Sure.
Right. As many kids do. And so I was like, oh yeah, sweet. I'm great at the guitar. Probably going to be famous by the time I'm 14.
We all thought that, right?
Right.
World renowned.
And but yeah, the years went on, and I had to do school. Mum and dad made sure I was always at school, and I got to about I think it was 18, and I'm like, that's it. I've missed my shot. I'm too old now. I'm too old to. You can't once I've passed that point, and so yeah, now, and I just kind of gave up on that. Well, not really gave up. I mean, I still did music and bands and things, but in my mind, that was it. Like I'm too old to be a famous musician now. So I don't know. I just thought that was funny. Just my mindset at the time, and I revisited that recently, and I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, eventually on one of your streams, we're gonna have to see you play. I want to see LarryIRL play some guitar, get a little ukulele or something going on.
Yeah, definitely. That's something I'd love to do. Eventually, I would plan to do that eventually, but I don't know why I haven't done it up until now. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of what you're doing, when you listed like all of your jobs, I was like, that surprised the crap out of me. You already mentioned that you were a deckhand and an engineer for private super yachts. So,
yeah.
How did that happen? What is it like? Explain that to me. Because
okay.
So real quick, I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but there's a show called Below Deck. Was it similar to that? Have you ever heard of that show?
I have heard of the show, and I've not seen it though, but I would imagine so, yes.
Because I love that show. So if it's anything like that,
great.
like I would love to hear some of that.
I 100% get why people would like that show. Yeah, so it's very similar. You're working for these people that are insanely rich. Like, these are the kind of people that make the people on Forbes magazine look like, drops in the water.
Like oil tycoons.
Yeah, monopolies, just like
Russian oligarchs and
drug runners, the kind of people you don't fuck with, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and so ridiculous money. Like, for example, I think it was the first week working as a deckhand on one of these boats, and the owner of the boat came on board, and they were like, oh, by the way, we want we want you to go get us an elephant or some shit like that. I think it was like an elephant or a horse or something crazy, right?
Right.
And we were just like, oh yeah, cool. And I was looking around at these people like, are you serious? Like an elephant?
Well, how am I supposed to find an elephant?
But that's the kind of thing. Just last minute, you have to go get this shit, and no questions asked, right?
Right.
Yeah, as long as you get paid, do
That
whatever
kind
they
of-
say.
Yeah, that kind of paints the picture for you, right? But again, that's my dad has been working in that industry. I'm not sure how he got into it. Probably some illegal shit. But you know, he's been working in that industry for a while, and so through that, you know, I decided to move overseas and be a hero. And then Dad's like, "You need a job, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And he got me a job, which was kind of him. So that's kind of how I got into it. But from there, once you're kind of in the industry, you get to know people. It's pretty easy to go from there.
So from what I understand, if it's anything like Below Deck, the tips are pretty insane, right?
Yes. I mean, the pay is pretty great as well. But you do work hard. I mean, you're on call. You're basically working 16-hour days, and you live on the boat most of the time. You know, close quarters. You don't. So you work for the money, but yes, the tips, sometimes you get a lot of celebrities that will charter the boats, so you get to meet famous people, and they will, you know, throw crazy tips at people if they like you. But you know, it helps if you're attractive.
Yeah. How can you not like
most
Larry?
things in life.
Rule 1, be attractive. Rule 2, don't be unattractive. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
something like that. Fight Club.
And you're also a programmer, computer
Yeah.
technician / software programmer. So have you done that as a profession, or is that more of a hobby thing, or?
It was more of a hobby, and then it became a profession as years went on, I guess. It's something I've kind of done as a hobby for a few years, and then as I kind of I was working as at a warehouse supervisor at this company, and I was doing a lot of tech for them. I was hired as in the warehouse, but I ended up becoming their tech guy because they were kind of useless. And but they went out. I was doing the programming thing on the side, and they ended up the owner. I don't know the full story, but I think he kind of invested in too many different things, you know, and ended up putting the company under. The company went
that's
into
fantastic.
administration and liquidated everything. So I was out of work, but I'd been doing this programming, and I've kind of built up a list of friends and things like that. And I just started doing it on my own. And then from there, I guess I just kept going with that. Out of necessity, I think, more than anything.
Right. So do you do it like you do like kind of contract work on the side as well then, or?
Yeah, it's predominantly like freelance contract work, but I've got a few different companies and people that I work for on a regular basis. But it's all managed by myself.
Nice. So
Very well accomplished.
yeah.
Thank you. I mean, I tried.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I noticed about your list is like it's so diverse, like all the different things you've done. I feel like almost like you're a jack of all trades. I think you were mentioning in our group chat, you were saying that, like, you know, once I decide I'm going to do something, I just do it. Like,
Yeah.
is that it's always been that way? Do you feel like that's something that you've cultivated in yourself, or I mean, is something you learned from, like, were you raised that way by your parents, or?
I feel like, yeah. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know the answer, but it is something like when I get something in my mind and I have to do it, and I just don't stop until I achieve it, I guess. It's just the way I guess I've always been. I don't know what instilled that in me, but it's just something, like I said, for like Twitch, for example, one day I decided, I came across Twitch. I was like, oh, I love this. I want to do that. And I think that was like on a Friday, and the Monday I was streaming. And so it's just this how I've always done things.
Nice. Did I see you mention that you did pizza delivery as well for a while?
No, my first job, I started working pretty young. I was 14, and you needed to have like a note from your parents to say you were allowed to work. And I got a job at a pizza place, but I was a bit young to be doing the delivering. But yeah, that was shit. I didn't like that at all. But free pizza. Can't complain.
You definitely can't complain about free pizza. So, as far as you mentioned board games and D&D.
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, anything gaming related, but D&D is a big hobby of mine, big passion. I actually, when I started Twitch, I wanted to do like the idea that popped into my mind. I wanted to do like a D&D show, and I was gonna DM, but I just didn't have enough friends, right? So like I thought, well, there goes that idea. And then I thought, well, I still want to do this Twitch thing, and gaming is something that I had access to. I had access to a camera, and I just so I sat down and did that. But I love D&D. I watch a show called Critical Role.
Mm-hmm.
Very familiar
I
with
think
that.
we're both familiar with it.
Yeah.
Oh, great! It's awesome. We're best friends now.
Maybe we'll have to do a campaign.
Oh, I mean, I'm down. Let's do it. Do it. I mean, PM me, bro. have my people contact your people. We'll make it happen.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, I know there's other shows. There's other D&D shows out there. I saw a really great one at PAX this year, a great Aussie D&D live show, which was great. But Critical Role, there's something about the people. I really enjoy their personalities. And just, they seem like genuine, really great people that, just everything about it. I like the whole encompassing thing of that show. So I really get a lot out of that.
Yeah, I've always wanted to. I've DM'd like once, and I don't think we ever even finished the campaign. It's something I've always wanted to do more of for sure. But I've just, like you said, it's a matter of time and having the right group of friends that are willing to, like, because you got to schedule it, right? Like, you have to, if you're not like motivated enough and consistent enough to, like, say once a week at this time we're gonna do it, like, every time I've tried to do it, it eventually just kind of like falls off because people don't like take it seriously enough or whatever.
Yeah, people like miss a week here and there, then other people start missing weeks together, and people are just like, we don't have the time for it anymore, and then you just stop doing it.
It's hard enough to get people to like meet up for coffee, let alone a weekly game of D&D, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, man, I mean, it sounds like you've had a pretty... Oh, there was one more that I wanted to ask you about before we move on to some other stuff. Okay. You mentioned here a vending machine business. How in the hell does that happen? Like, what?
All right, yeah.
I'm very curious about that.
I guess that's like another one of those things. I was like, hey, that looks cool. Let's do that. So, I don't even know the answer to this question. It was about 2 or 3 years ago, and I hung out at this music store a lot, and they kind of hated me there because I just go in and play guitar all the time and bug them. And
never buy a guitar.
Yeah, never buy it, right? No. And they would like they got a vending machine there eventually one day. I was like, oh sweet, that's cool, that's new. Way to go, guys, changing up the scene and stuff. And then I noticed there was the machine was broken and had a number on it, and I rang the guy because it stole my money. And
nice.
Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll be down there soon, blah blah blah. And he came down, and I ended up getting into a conversation with him. He mentioned that he was selling a few of his machines, and I just said, well, hey, I'll take them, and I did. And it kind of just went from there, and I eventually got a few more machines. I got some claw machines, got some candy machines, and before I knew it, I had like 30 machines or something like that. and yeah, it was interesting, and it's great because I thought, wow, this is great. You know, I just set up these machines and they just make me money. It's just like free money, almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
So other than maintenance, right? So once you set them up, you just go and you empty them out every once in a while, or?
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part with vending machines is finding the location and securing a contract. But from there, once you've secured the location, it's really just maintenance and restocking and stuff like that. But you do get a lot of call outs for people like, hey, you stole my money. And a lot of the time it's not real, but it's fine. You know, I'm a pretty intimidating guy. So they don't mess with me much once I'm there.
I can see those eyes probably strike fear in the hearts of many a scammer.
Yeah, right.
Not as many disputes as one might think.
So so you said restocking. So I imagine you have to buy the machines from somewhere, but you also have to have sources, right, for whatever you're going to be stocking them with, as far as like whether it's food or toys or whatever. I'm sure you have to like learn, like, because people are really, I've noticed when it comes to like finding a good distributor of something, a lot of people are very close-lipped about that. Like they don't want, that's kind of a trade secret. Like if they find a really good distributor, they don't want other people to know about it, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like that at all.
Oh, really?
So for me, being the business genius that I was like, hey, we just stock up from Woolies, right? From Woolworths. And,
really?
The supermarkets. I was just in the supermarket, just filling trolleys full of candy and shit. And I'm like, this isn't gonna work, right? This isn't gonna last. And the lady behind the checkout's like, hey, vending machine, right? I'm like, yeah. So eventually I realized you could get wholesale. I found the wholesale place.
Nice.
And most of them really just stocked, because I was mainly dealing in candy, and most of them stocked majority of what I needed. In terms of the claw machines, you could just order that shit off eBay. You could just get stuff in bulk. It was pretty easy. And those ones, you didn't really, normally most of the time you didn't restock as often. So it wasn't that hard.
So with the claw machines, is it true that you can set the difficulty on them? So every once in a while, like,
oh yeah, 100%. I would loosen those screws. You know, if too many wins that week, just loosen that shit up. And
I'm gonna call you Shady Larry.
Just going one day up the odds a bit, so people are like, oh, you can actually win something. Go back next week, super low.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah, just every now and then I'd let a few wins go. Like, oh, there you go, kids.
Nice.
No, I mean, my machines were pretty cheap, right? I cheaped out, so I didn't have like a digital thing which I could adjust the difficulty, but I would just get in there and just be like, loosen this one, loosen that, should be good, and then we're good to go, right?
Yeah, I watched a whole documentary once about how, like, you know, vending machines and little like quarter machines and stuff, and there's I think the documentary was about a guy in New York or New Jersey, and he was like one of the last ones who was still like going all over town and restocking all of his, like,
wow, yeah.
I guess in some parts of the world it's a dying industry, but claw machines, I still see those all over the place. So
Japan is the place to go.
Oh yeah, they're huge over there.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of guys on Twitch. They actually just like stream playing vending machines, like the claw games, because there's a few services out there where you can just like go in on your computer and then play these claw machines, and then they'll mail you the prize if you win it.
What? Okay.
Yeah, Gator Pete was playing one of those. I forget the name of the site. We'll probably have to look it up, but so I get, in Japan I've seen, don't they even have like vending machines that like for smartphones and stuff? Like you can straight up, they have vending machines, you can buy everything.
You can win anything from a vending machine over there.
Like you know, women, like whatever.
Yeah, they have like used panty machines.
No.
The creepy weird ass shit.
Yeah.
I saw one. They like a whole car. It was a vending machine for a smart car. For a smart car, they just had one car, and you could like put your credit card in and buy a car.
That's outrageous.
They have I saw a documentary recently, and it had They were going around to vending machines, and they had this building, and it was like 6 or 7 levels, and it was just all different machines like that.
Wow.
It's crazy. They love it over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, man, that's crazy. So are most of your vending machines, I imagine they're in Australia then? Do you have any abroad or?
Oh, no. I just had a few locally. I ended up getting a friend of mine. I ended up employing him to help me take care of them, because I got once we were up around the maximum amount that I had, which was about 28 machines or something like that. I couldn't do it anymore. It was getting a bit much, but nothing abroad or anything like that. And this was when I was living in Queensland, and I was trying to manage it. I moved to Melbourne recently, which is the bottom of Australia, and this from the eastern up the top to the bottom. So it's quite a move. And I was trying to manage it from down here, but it just wasn't working. So
Sure.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that your ones up north, you just sold them off or got rid of them or what?
Yeah, well, actually, to the guy that was working with me, he ended up just buying out the rest from me.
Nice.
Yeah.
I might have to ask you about that. What about arcade machines? Have you ever like looked into those at all? Because that's always something I've always wanted to like bring back arcade machines, and I've heard that there's people who like. It's a similar thing, right? You own the machines, but you just put them in the businesses and then you maintenance them and stuff. But
yeah.
Have you ever done anything with those, or is it mostly just
not arcade? I assume it's the similar kind of thing. There's 2 ways you can do it, right? The one is the way you mentioned with you can just like set up your own machine in the location, and you can handle all the restocking and the maintenance. But you can also lease machines to people, or they lease them from you, and they handle all the restocking and things like that themselves.
right?
So there's 2 ways you can do it.
That's so interesting. I don't know. It's definitely. I've looked into it a couple times, and I'm like, I don't. I don't think I'd have the time to.
It's really just like I said, getting the location. That's the hardest bit. But from there, once it's established, it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those passive income activities, it's just getting into it and starting it is usually the hardest part. Because once you have people that you know are willing to do it with you, then you're already in.
I guess I was lucky in the sense that when I spoke to that guy and I ended up buying the machines off him initially, he didn't have many, he had like 4 or 5, but he had the location set up and there was still time on the contracts. So I was kind of already in the door. But I did find it really challenging from there to try and go out and just talk to people. And I mean, how do you even approach people about that? And so it was definitely difficult. I did eventually start advertising out, and that helped bring people to me, which was easier. The conversation's easier if they come looking in the first place. But approaching people was definitely something new to me, and it wasn't easy.
Sure. Yeah, I can't imagine. Like, I'm sure that at the very beginning, it's probably a bit tricky. Now you got me. Now you got me thinking about things. I'm like, I'm gonna get my own vending machine.
Anytime, my friend. If you want to talk about
machines,
I'm practically a professional now.
Nice. All right. Well, hey, before we usually do a few quick fire questions. We have a little list of questions that are just kind of fun, thought-provoking questions. But before I did that, I wanted to switch to our media view here and play a clip that I really liked of yours. I thought it was pretty fun. To preempt this, I guess somebody asked you an interesting question and you had a really fun response. So I thought I would play this clip. It's a little quiet. I've got it turned up all the way, but just to give you an idea of what you guys can expect, if you go check out twitch.tv/LarryIRL, it's fun stuff. So here you go. I'm gonna play this little clip here.
One of these days, got to explain how you are a Muppet. How are you? What do you mean, how are you a Muppet? I was born that way. You mean like are we having the talk now? Do you need to know how babies are made? Right. And the mommy and daddy love each other very much. They do the sex, and then babies are born. He puts his winky in your mama's vajayjay.
Vajayjay.
And then, you know, they do. That's kind of how it happens, right? I mean, I feel like I'm not the right person to be telling you this, but I'm actually a little bit concerned. It's alright, friends. Alright, cool. Sorry. Excuse me from that bit of divergence we did then, but you know, sometimes you need to educate the people, right?
It's a good clip.
I completely forgot about that until we were talking about it earlier.
That made me smile to the point where my cheeks hurt. I love when you're like, I feel like I'm not the right person to be talking to you about this.
I mean, come on, man.
It's so good. I definitely giggled my ass off, and it was a little quiet. We'll turn that up in the editing. We'll make sure that everyone out there can hear that. But it was just so, like, I don't know. You took the time to break away from what you were doing and have a heart to heart with this person who wanted to know where did you come from?
I feel like somebody needs to do it, right? Obviously they're not getting the education elsewhere. So
you're doing a public service to society. Obviously, their parents
helping the man learn.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm a people man, right? I try to help the people.
It's fantastic. So when you first started Twitch, what would you say was your biggest challenge?
Okay. Is this the quick fire round?
Yes, we're going straight into it.
Well, yeah. I think the biggest challenge was just starting, right? I know that sounds a bit of a cliche, but definitely starting. There was all these things I wanted to do, but the biggest challenge, and I think this will be the same for most people, is just get there, get on and start, right? Otherwise you're just going to procrastinate forever. And so yeah, starting, I think. I'm sorry if that's not a great answer, but yeah.
No, I think that's true. Like, that you can always find a million reasons not to do something, right?
Yeah. I mean, even looking back now, I know I've only been doing it for a short time, but even looking back now, I still cringe at some of the earlier stuff I did. But you know, it's just all part of the process, and
you're just finding your footing, finding your way out.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of people, they're just like, they stream like they're like, oh, I'm gonna do this. They do it for a week or two, and then they really fall off. They're like, oh, maybe I don't want to stream today. I'll do it tomorrow. They keep telling themselves, oh, I'm gonna do it the next day, and then they just stop doing it.
And that's another part of that as well. You need to really, sometimes there's min days. I mean, I still have days like that all the time, but sometimes those days where you just go, you know what, I'm gonna do it anyway. And you start, you turn on the camera, you press go live, and they end up being some of the best streams you have. So I just really encourage people to just start, and you know, it will all pan out from there as long as you care about what you do, as long as you're genuine, you're honest with people. I feel like those are important traits, and it will definitely get you moving in the right direction.
Nice.
Couldn't be said better.
Yeah. Absolutely. You got to start somewhere. And like that, you're not going to start day one and be Ninja, right? Like it's all part of the process. A lot of people don't know that, like, before Ninja blew up with like Fortnite and everything, like he's been doing it. He's been doing online content and streaming and stuff for like almost 10 years. Like he's been doing it for a long time. So like you can't expect to just flip the switch and do it overnight, but it is hard to take that first step for sure. It's gonna be.
It's the same for everybody. Everybody in the entertainment industry, anybody that I've ever met, you know, it's always like everyone sees the overnight success, but there's always so many years in preparation, and they might not be exactly what they were doing right now when they became famous or whatever. But it's all these things that led up to the point where they are today. Their life experiences and whatever it may be. So yeah, I think starting is the best thing.
Just hit that button. Just do it.
Do it.
Nice. Let's see, James. Is there anything you want to ask? Any specific ones you want to throw at him?
Yeah. Well, you know, a man of your status, a Muppet. You're there's not a whole. You're a minority here on Twitch. So what kind of hurdles do you think that brought upon you trying to get onto this service?
I mean, hurdles. You know, it's difficult, I guess. My eyes are made of ping pong balls, so that's always difficult. I don't know exactly if it was one thing. I feel like I had the same hurdles as everyone else. I know being a minority, and a lot of people. Actually, this is probably the biggest thing. So people look at my channel, and the first thing they say is a gimmick, and they're like, "Oh, it's a gimmick." Okay, and that's great in some cases because it gets people to click, they come over, but that's not what makes people stay, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can get the clicks, but to get people to stay, you have to do something more. But from that, on the flip side, people see this gimmick and then they're like, well, you know, it's just a gimmick. I'm not interested. It's probably going to be shit. So there's a lot of negative thing. I mean, in the short time I've been doing it, I already get like hate mail and things like that from people that say, like I don't deserve any of the recognition or success, or I guess you could say success that I've got so far. So that's part of it. I think that's been challenging, but I guess it was expected as well. So, you know, you deal with it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Some people are just like, some people are just assholes. I mean,
I know, right?
Yeah.
Everyone will always find an excuse to like tear someone else down. They're like, oh, this guy's successful. I'm going to make him feel like shit, right? Like misery loves company, right? No, if someone feels like this guy doesn't deserve it, I'm gonna knock him down a peg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you said, like you said, with gimmicks, like some people, they're like, oh, it's not your hard work and dedication that's making you like do this well. It's the gimmick. And then they think, oh, if I had a gimmick, then I could be like this successful.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, go for it, bro. You think you can do it better? Go ahead.
Nice.
Show me right now. That's what I say to them, right?
Right. Exactly. That's
I mean, I encourage people to. I'm not like owning what I'm doing. You know, if people can do it better, go ahead, do it better. You know, that's the only way I'm gonna learn. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's a really good attitude to have, especially on Twitch.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely. So, Larry IRL, why is New Zealand trash?
Well, where do I start? I've got a list. No, you know what? I mean, I love to play into the whole, you know, the rivalry and stuff, but deep down, we still love each other. Australia and New Zealand, I think it's more of a sarcastic banter thing that we do. But, you know, I'm jealous of the accent. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'm sorry, that's not a good answer. But,
it's just a fun question. I like to see how people respond to a little controversy. You know, what's that show? One of my favorite shows, actually. I'm really into like comedy and shows, and one of my favorite shows is Flight of the Concords.
Oh yes, I love them. Love them so much.
And they're from New Zealand, right?
Yeah. Great. Number 4 New Zealand band, folk New Zealand band.
Although I will say, we talked about this before. As good as they are, they don't hold a candle to Tim Minchin.
Okay, yeah. No, I mean,
Tim Minchin, in my opinion, is one of the greatest like creative comedy, like entertainer, musical. Like he's the full package, and I love Tim Minchin. Like
I agree. He is a great guy. Did you see the talk he did at his university? I did.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So great. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I don't know what it's called, but Oh, it's so great.
Yeah, and he recently did a farewell tour because he was living in the United States, and like he recently decided to move back, and he did like one final like hurrah like farewell tour, and I got to see him live in Santa Barbara, and I got to meet him and take some pictures with him, and like he was probably one of the with famous people, you never know like how they're gonna be like in person when you actually meet him. He was legitimately one of the most genuine people I've like. He gave me his full attention, looked me like right in the eyes while I was talking to him, and like hung on every word that I had to say. And he was just like genuinely interested in me and like my story. And it was awesome. He's a super cool dude, along with being hilarious. Like
that's so great to hear. I'm glad that he lived up to the expectations, right? Because sometimes you meet these people that you might idolize and they let you down a bit. So it's really great to hear that he is exactly what you think he is, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So Larry.
Yes.
What's your favorite curse word?
Oh, shit. Definitely shit. Yeah, I say it a lot. Yeah. I think it just became my favorite by default. It's just fun to say. It's kind of, you can shit and you can throw it out there like that, give it a bit of a wind up. I don't know. It's fun.
I like your emphasis on the T. Shit.
Yeah, you've got to emphasize the T.
So you know that whatever situation is, it's really shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Not nice. A good one.
Love it.
So I want to ask you this question, but you've done so many things. I don't know if one of these things may be the answer to this question already. But like, let's say tomorrow you woke up and you were just amazing at something. Anything. Like whatever profession it is, like that you're now like a professional at it. You're one of the best in the world at it. If there was something other than what you've already done, is there a career or trait or profession? If you could wake up tomorrow and be a pro at it, what would that be?
Oh, okay. Pause. Next question.
No, nothing.
That's so hard to say.
You can't just make him choose.
You can't. There's too many options out there, right? I feel like it's difficult for me for these reasons, because I feel like anything that I really, really want to pursue, I'm gonna do it anyway. But so I'm not saying that I'm great or I'm already there with anything, but yeah, I feel like I don't know if there's any one specific thing that's gonna change anything that I'm doing already.
Yeah,
it's difficult to answer.
You don't want to be the president of Australia?
No.
We're trying to get a realistic answer here, Jimmy.
Come on now. I said if you could wake up and be good at anything.
I mean, a professional eater would be pretty good.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good because, I mentioned this earlier. I enjoy food, but to do it professionally and then travel, that would be great.
You could be a food critic, like food reviews.
Oh yeah, and I could wear a cravat and everything.
Nice. There you go. What else? What do you think, James? Anything on here?
I don't think so. We touched on like so much.
I have one. Maybe this will be the last one, and then we do have Jumbotron James to do after this.
Oh, we do. Hopped up immediately before we started.
Yeah, reminder. So with the whole yacht thing, I'm still super fascinated with that whole like super yacht, like working on the crew, all that stuff.
Yeah.
In your time doing that, if someone were to like, it's their first time ever getting on a yacht, ever like being part of a crew, if there were 3 like do's and don'ts of like what are the mistakes that newbies make? If you were to give someone some advice, like some do's and don'ts for being on a yacht crew or being a part of a mega yacht like experience, do you have any advice you could give to someone trying to get into that world?
You just need to be a yes man, really. I think but in the same sense, also a bit of I don't know if you've heard the term the gray man. So you don't want to draw too much attention to yourself, but if you do, you just kind of yes, and go do it. Even if you can't do it or you don't know how, just say yes and then deal with the consequences later. Mm-hmm. But because they will fire people if they're not good looking enough. They're very, very snobby. I mean, that's not true about everyone. Some of the people are really great and they actually socialize with the crew and stuff like that. But majority of the time you're just there to do a job. But it's not a very interesting answer, sorry, but
no, that makes sense. I absolutely
the kind of money you're talking about, the kind of the attitude these people have, the majority of them. I don't want to categorize, throw them all into the one thing, but yeah, I think they just have this attitude towards life, and if you don't fit that, then you're not going to hang around.
You're easily replaceable.
Yeah, exactly. Expendable, each one.
So maybe having that mindset going into it that like I just basically have to make this work and figure it out. Otherwise, they'll just hire someone else when we go to shore.
Yeah, I mean that makes it sound like it's not that fun, though, right? It was completely the opposite, right? The owners are only actually usually on the boat for maybe 2 or 3 months tops out of the year, and then the rest of the time it's just you and the rest of the crew. So for that time, I mean, depending on which boats you work on, but one I worked on, we had. It had like a helicopter pad and all these jet skis and these different toys, like the little what are they called? The things like you hold onto them and they're like a torpedo and you swim under the water.
Know what you're talking about? Don't know the name.
I don't know what they're called.
Yeah. I think it's called a torpedo actually. Yeah. But just things like that. So when they're not on board, we just pretended like we were the owners of the boats and like, yeah, come on board, come jacuzzi with us and stuff like that. Especially like middle of Carnival. I hope my old boss isn't watching this, but yeah. So that was pretty great. But then again, then there's other times, but we be respectful as well, right? We're not like trashing their ship.
Yeah,
but,
you're just maintaining the equipment. You got to make sure the jacuzzi works.
Exactly. So that there's that side of it, and there's the travel. You get to travel a lot. You get paid well. And you get to meet a lot of cool people. There's definitely a community in that kind of that work environment. So you get to know a lot of people. It's nice when you'll go out to sea and then you'll come and you'll dock in a new place and you like wake up in the new place and then you'll see a friend you haven't seen in 6 months and it's like, hey, how's it going, Jimmy? Oh, Bob, nice. And then so it's pretty good, that side of it.
Yeah, no, you're making me want to run away from all of my responsibilities and join a crew.
Just leave the.
You feel like a pirate, right? I love it.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. I might get crazy seasick, but is that ever an issue? Oh, there it is.
I'm a pirate now.
Perfect. When you first started doing that, did you have any issues with like seasickness or anything, or did you take to it pretty easily?
No, not really. I'm not one to get motion sickness. But I mean, most of these ships are pretty equipped with like some sort of ballast or something that can balance the ship, so it doesn't really rock a lot anyway.
Got it.
They're pretty much online cruise liners, but private. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, last question, James. You like this one? Do you want to ask it?
Oh, which one is it? Oh, gotcha. Your room, desk, or car? Which do you clean first?
Okay. Room, desk, or car? Definitely the desk, I think. I spend the most time at the desk. Desk is the winner there. No contest.
Keep it pretty clean. What about after that? What's next on the list?
Oh, I mean, I like to make my bed in the morning, but that's about the extent of my room cleaning. I think car is probably next. Yeah, I don't know. Desk, car, room. I think that's my answer.
Desk, car, room. So car is second?
Yeah, because I feel like, well, see, I mean, it's just where I spend the most of my time. So I'm usually at my desk working. And if I'm not there, then I'm in the car going places. I don't sleep a lot. So, I'm in my room like maybe 6 hours, if that. So it's not a big deal.
Nice.
I think it's one of the few that rank the room at the bottom.
Yeah, is that not common?
I think most people do like desk, room, then car, or car comes first sometimes, but usually room's not last.
I feel like a car is a lot of people judge you by your car. I know that's wrong, but I mean,
it's true though. Yeah, if a car rolls up and it's just got like 3 layers of bug guts and dust on it, you're who's this guy?
Nobody sees my room, right? They don't need to see that shit.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
it's like they're not gonna, even when people come visit, they're not gonna hang out in my room.
Exactly, right? So I mean, that's just where I can lay back and be a slob and just be me, right? Just watch my movies in the bed, eat food. No, I try not to eat in my bed. But, yeah.
Talking about eating in your bed reminds me. There was one time when Lady Navio and I had been having ourselves a wonderful evening, and we decided right before we went home to get Taco Bell, as we often do when we've been drinking or out partying. And I got a Crunchwrap Supreme. And we got in bed and we opened up the Taco Bell bag and I unwrapped my Crunchwrap Supreme and I immediately fell asleep.
Oh no! Okay.
And I woke up in the morning like laying on top of a Crunchwrap Supreme.
Oh man!
Oh, drunk Jimmy made mistakes that night, but it was. We laugh about it now, but yeah.
That's a problem for future Jimmy.
Exactly. Yeah, future Jimmy can deal with the Crunchwrap in his bed, right?
Yeah.
But wow, that's awesome, man. I feel like we've really gotten to know you tonight, Larry.
We've bonded, right? I feel like that too.
I feel so much closer to you.
We're all buds now.
Quick to Rage seems to have also. He is happy that you're here.
Oh, Quick, nice. Oh, yeah, I see everybody in the chat. Hello, people.
So what we're gonna do now? It has officially been about an hour since we started. We have a segment on the show called Jumbotron James. People can submit messages for James to read live on the podcast. And we had one submission this week. So James is going to go ahead and read that. And then we'll take a short, 3 to 5 minute break. And when we come back, as soon as we come back, we have a hot, fresh Sheefs Beef for you guys. I know we didn't have one last week, so everyone's probably really anxious for some Sheefs Beef. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be good. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be spicy. So, James, you go ahead and do your thing, and then we're going to take a short break after that.
Mm-hmm. Gotta moisten the lips a little bit.
Of course.
This comes from That Bishop Girl. I actually noticed the person that Twitch channel describes was here a bit earlier. Not sure if he's still stuck around, but support the mental health of active duty and veteran troops internationally by donating to Stack Up. They help through the power of gaming. On November 11th, join the 12-hour charity stream at twitch.tv/OgreMyGuy, or you can donate directly to www.stackup.org.
Awesome. Sounds like a really good cause. Go check that out. Is it Ogre Magi or Magi? I'm not sure.
Magi. It's like there's the 3 Magi, but then it's like I hear Magi, so not quite sure.
Yeah, I definitely got to support our veterans. Awesome. Thank you for submitting that message. Like I said, we're going to take a short 3 to 5 minute break. Go hit the bucket, drink your drink, smoke your smoke, do what you got to do, and we'll be right back. And as soon as we come back from the break, we are going to be bringing you up, serving up some hot, fresh Sheefs Beef. If you guys just want to go ahead and mute yourselves, and we'll be back in a few.
You got it.
All right. Thank you, guys. Stick around. All right. We're back at it, and we're going to jump right in to some hot, spicy Sheefs Beef. I hope you guys are ready. He got it done ahead of time. Usually it's like super last minute, but he was very proud of himself that he got the Sheefs Beef was prepared. He spent some extra time sautéing the beef, marinating the beef, slow cooking the beef. So I'm going to bring the other guys back on here, and we're going to jump right into the beef. So if you guys want to unmute yourselves. And so generally what we do is we'll do 1, 2, 3, go, and we'll all hit play on go. So do y'all have the beef up?
I do.
I don't. Where's the beef?
Oh, it was he shared the link in the Discord.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry.
If you want to pull it up or download it. It should only take a minute, or you can just play it right in your browser if you have decent internet. But we can wait for a sec. It's no big deal.
Oh well. Yeah, I found it.
But while you're getting the beef ready, James, why don't you tell us about what you did this week with Mr. SushiDragon? I actually meant to ask you about this. So, Larry, if you want to go ahead and prepare the beef, and James, tell me about that. So, for those who don't know, we went to TwitchCon, and James actually got to hang out with Tropical Moisture and TheSushiDragon quite a bit. And for those who don't know, TheSushiDragon, he hasn't been around for very long on Twitch, and he has just exploded because he's doing some really creative, original stuff. And James, this past week, had the opportunity to go on his stream and not only be interviewed by SushiDragon, but also dance with him live on his stream. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that experience?
That dancing almost killed me. But so I had met SushiDragon through Tropical at TwitchCon, so I made that connection. And then I was waiting for him to stream because I was like, from what I saw at TwitchCon, he's like pumped. He was fired, full of energy, ready to like do it all again. So I was waiting for him to stream. And I had missed one, and I was really sad about it. But then I caught the next one right after. It was like the next day. And he does what he usually does, even when he was smaller. He would grab a random person from his chat and then just bring him on the stream and interview him. And then if they were willing, then they would help him do the dance. Because for like $5, you send him a song, and then he just dances to it. That's what he does. So I was like, the queue was empty. He was like, all right, who's like next to be interviewed? No one will say anything. And I was like, all right, Sushi, would you like to talk to me? And he was like, James, get in here. So I jump right in. We chat for a bit. We talk about TwitchCon, like meeting him, all that stuff. And the clip I just put, he asked me, what's my best gotchi boss face? And then now that's live for the world to see everywhere. But
I saw it.
And then right at the end, towards the end of it, he was like, so James, are you going to help me with the song? And I was like, sushi for you? I'd do anything. And I was like, and just to make it special, I'll move the camera, because the camera is usually facing at this corner. I tilted it like 90 degrees that way so you could see the rest of my room, so I could get up, do the full motion dance. And I helped him do 2 songs. By the first song, almost died. I was like, if you look at the clip, if you like look at the VOD where I was, he's like staff come in, he's like talking to staff for a bit, and you see me in the background, I'm just lying on the floor. I'm like, the floor is very nice right now. And he's like, James, do you got one more in you? And me in my head, I'm like, oh, I don't have one more in me. But then what I say instead is, oh yeah, totally, I can do one more. So I go hard, one more song. I finish, I'm super out of breath. People are like, oh man, he looks like he's about to die. I'm like hunched over. I'm like, I don't think I can survive this. And he's like, James, thank you for coming on. I'm like, glad I could come on and help you out. I got to finish my homework now. He lets me off. And then the next like 20 minutes is me like trying to not die, because I'm so exhausted. And it made me appreciate the type of content he does. Because I was like, he does this for 6+ hours a day. Like, how hard could it be? But then just 2 songs, 7.5 minutes, almost killed me. And I was like, Sushi, you're a god.
Dude, I couldn't imagine, like,
What you're doing.
you're probably, I mean, I'm out of, between us two, I'm probably the least in shape. Like, just even watching his stream is exhausting. I couldn't imagine doing that for like you said, 6-hour streams of just like nonstop movement, dancing, just like it's a lot. It's all cardio. And he's just,
especially, he takes like some small breaks, but then I'm like, if this were me, my breaks would have to be like an hour long between like a few dances, like 15 minutes of dancing. It brought my respect for him that much higher.
Yeah, it's I feel the same way about like other people who do those really interactive, like blue screen, walking around, dancing, like, Uncle Joe. That just anything like that. It's so much like that one time when we raided Uncle Joe, and he was like, he had some crazy music going, and he had a blue screen or a green screen going, and he was like playing his drum pads and just like dancing and screaming for like, like an hour at a time. I'm just like, I mean,
is it skill? Is it practice? Is it hard work? Possibly all three. But it takes a certain kind of person.
Yeah, no, that's.
And while I had a great time, don't think I could do it again. It might kill me the next time.
For me, that's a heart attack waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm. But I made a fool of myself in front of 500 people, and they all enjoyed it, so it's a job well done.
Oh, that reminds me, one last thing, and then we'll see where Larry's at with his download. I noticed he flipped off his camera, but hopefully he'll be back in a minute. You are the most recent addition to Team DLC.
I am, yes.
We should officially announce that on the podcast. And the funny thing, I've put your name in the hat at least 3 or 4 times, and they're like, he doesn't stream enough. I never see him streaming, and I'm like, God damn it. Because I know, like, you're such a great content creator. Like, you do YouTube stuff. Like, you're involved in so many communities. And I'm like, no, you guys listen. Like, he may not stream a ton on Twitch, but, like, he's always doing stuff. Like, he would be a valuable member to the team. And they were just like, yeah, I just want to see him stream a little bit more, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, like, and then right after TwitchCon, I noticed you started picking up, like, streaming more often. And I was like, all right. So he's streaming more now. Like, can we please make him a member of DLC? Like, obviously he's like really good at Minion Masters. He's pulling in like a good audience. Like, put him on the team. And they were like, okay, yeah, no, he should be on DLC. I was like, thank you. How many times I have to tell you guys that James is good shit? So
sorry about that, guys. My fire alarm went off in my house.
Oh no!
Not even kidding. I may or may not have left a pizza in the oven. So
is it all right?
Yeah, it's well.
Is it well done?
The pizza is not all right, but
at least you're okay.
The house is still here. So I'm very flammable, so I will worry about these things.
You appear to be very flammable. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad there aren't flames and smoke arising in the background behind your green screen there.
Thank you. It's
yeah,
fine.
and Jimmy, it is funny because I noticed people were saying in the DLC chat, it was like, oh, like we should put together a DLC YouTube channel and like we could post highlights and stuff there. And I was like, please don't ask me to do that.
Yeah,
I was like, oh no, they might be like, oh, James makes YouTube videos. He probably has a lot of experience doing that. I was like, oh, that sounds like a lot of work.
All right. So we have sufficiently stalled long enough. Larry, do you have Sheefs Beef ready?
I do, yes.
You got it up?
Do I need to mute the audio or anything like that?
No, it's up to you. Do you have headphones, or are you playing through your?
Yeah. No, it should be fun.
All right, yeah. So basically, what we're gonna do is on go. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, go, and we're all gonna play it at the same time. We do not watch this ahead of time, so none of us have seen this yet. For those who don't know, we have a segment on the show called Sheefs Beef. Our friend Meshyf at twitch.tv/Meshyf. He sometimes has beef with lots of stuff going on, and he's an angry old man. So he likes to give us a couple things to complain about and debate, and we get to decide which one is the bigger beef. And according to him, there is a right answer. So
our opinions can be wrong.
So we'll go ahead and hit play on go when you're all ready. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Ready?
All right. 1, 2, 3, go.
You need the beefiest of beefs, the sheefiest of sheefs. Then get yourself ready. Open up them buckles and eat some beef. It's Sheefs Beef.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to the ring. I'm your host Meshyf, bringing you 2 USDA Prime choice cuts of hot fucking beef. Now we're going to put them head to head and see which of the 2 is the beefiest, and stick around to the end because there is a right answer. Our first beef is
Okay.
bacon everything. I know what you're thinking. Meshyf, I love bacon. Bacon's delicious.
I do love
I
bacon.
fucking agree.
Yeah.
I look like someone that enjoys me some bacon, right? Now, bacon in salad, bacon on burgers, bacon by itself. Bacon, just being bacon, is great. It's fantastic. It's one of those things that makes a lot of things better, but it doesn't make everything better.
Lies.
We have crossed a fucking line as a country. We went fucking nuts. Go to Google, stop what you're doing. Bacon plus any noun in the search bar, and you will find a result matching your query.
Bacon soap.
It's time to stop. We need to reel it back a little bit. Bacon doesn't make things that suck better. It just makes the bacon
air.
suck.
Wow. Okay.
Bacon air fresheners, bacon toothpaste, bacon toothpicks, bacon vodka, bacon lube, bacon condoms. They're all fucking out there, and they all make bacon worse. They don't make the other thing better. Enjoy bacon, cook it up, eat it. I'm down with it, but we need to reel it the fuck back, people. Bacon is out of
gross.
control. They're ruining it. That's why, Bacon, you're the first beef of the week. Second beef is shaving. Now, you may notice, those of you watching live, twitch.tv/JimmyNavio at 6 p.m. on Twitch, that I have a little bit of scruff going on.
Uh-oh.
Now, it is currently No Shave November.
Oh, there he is.
And my work, for the very first time since I've been there, has allowed us to donate money to contribute and participate in No Shave November. And I am ecstatic. If you don't know, I used to have a beard down here, and it was glorious, and it was very comfortable, and I loved it. And to work in the workforce, they said, oh, you're very qualified. We really like you, but people won't buy from you if you have a beard. It's 2018. We are past the whole men not having beards and facial hair, right? I am a man. I have facial hair. It's something that happens. Let's go ahead and get past that. I'm not saying I want to look like some Grizzly Adams looking motherfucker, but a nice beard like my friend Lost here. Maybe Gator Pete. He's got a great beard. JimmyNavio, our fearless host. They've all got great beards. They're all professional men, okay? We can have beards and look good. Shaving, you're going to spend tons of money, even with these delivery products like Dollar Shave Club, Henry's, whatever. By the way, you guys should sponsor the show. Any of those products are great, and they do make shaving suck less, but you're still cutting your fucking face every single day. You're spending 10 to 15 minutes every day getting it right so it looks proper and you get a good cut. And that's only important because you're required to by your job. Shaving, you're fucking bullshit. I'm a man. Let me be a man. All you guys out there with beards, enjoy them and cultivate them. Grow them fucking magnificent. Shaving, you're the second beef of the week. Now, Jimmy, James, our new friend Larry, I want you guys to discuss and figure out which of the 2 is the beefiest. At the end, we'll come back and let you know why Jimmy's wrong.
All right. I got it paused. I'm at 3:45. I paused it.
Yeah, 3:44.
All right.
Sweet.
Cool. What do you get? So what? The beefs this week are bacon everything versus shaving. So, Larry, why don't you chime in first? Give us your opinions on these two beefs and which one you think is the beefiest.
Oh, so I have to choose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You do.
Wow. Well, I love bacon. I love food. I love bacon. Love it. But I'd have to agree with a lot of the things he said. It's getting a bit out of control, right? Bacon, everything. Wow. Yeah. I mean, but shaving. No, we're not having that. I'm a hairy guy. Right? We ain't doing the shaving. So I feel like the shaving for me, at least, that's definitely my beef of the week.
So you would say shaving for you personally is the bigger beef?
Yeah. I mean, you don't. I feel like it's unnecessary. It's a natural thing that happens. You don't. Well, bacon, that ain't natural. You don't need bacon in your soap. You don't need bacon air freshener. Come on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although that does sound pretty yummy. But
True.
besides that, it's not
Squeezable
not
bacon.
necessary. The squeeze one, yuck. No.
That was wrong on so many
Yeah, I
levels.
agree. No, thank you.
Yeah, Larry, I'm frightened to see what you would even look like if you
You
shaved.
should be. You should be. It's not a pretty picture.
So much hair. James, what about you?
Well, I gotta agree with Larry on this one. I'm a huge fan of bacon. Easy to cook, delicious to eat. You can save up that bacon grease, cook other stuff with it to enhance the flavor. Just can't go
Love it.
wrong. Has it gone too far? Yes, it has gone too far. But bacon itself bears no sin. It's
Right.
it's transcended above all these other things trying to get with it. But shaving, I don't like shaving. I have to shave. You can see I have some stubble. It literally stays like this forever. It never grows thicker. You can barely see it, but in person,
Oh.
it just looks gross. But I was like, okay, this month I'll not shave it. I'll see how far it goes. It has not changed for like a week now. It's bothering me. I'm like,
You'll get there, man.
does nothing. So it's like, I gotta shave it because it doesn't look good. But yeah, it's a waste of time. I gotta allot time out of my day just to shave. I have to buy products to shave. I'm out of razors, so I gotta buy new razors now. It's not a good time. So yeah, shaving, that's my beef of the week.
We got 2 for shaving.
Come on, Jimmy.
I have a feeling Meshyf is probably going to say shaving because I think he really valued his beard before they made him shave it for his sales position.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he likes bacon as well, though, right?
I mean, he does like bacon. No, he's saying, I agree with him. Bacon by itself, like if you're eating bacon or if you're, bacon on a salad is fine. You're pushing the envelope if you go if you're talking bacon ice cream, you're kind of like, there's a place in my hometown, Meshyf probably knows what I'm talking about. They serve bacon ice cream and it's surprisingly pretty decent.
Yes, a little savory with the sweet.
But I do agree with him in the sense that there are some bacon things that are just kind of ruining it. I feel like bacon has become too cliche, especially with the whole keto diet thing. And there, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but there used to be back in the early days of Reddit. I'm gonna throw out a reference. There used to be an old reference about baconing in the night. That's
Oh.
it's.
I was like, you
it's
said that you were too deep.
It's a super obscure old school Reddit reference.
Wow, okay.
So go Google it. Bacon's at night. There's a whole phrase.
Narwhal bacon's at midnight.
Exactly. I wasn't gonna say the whole phrase, but
It's not a good one.
it kind of became this whole meme and this whole joke that everything I don't know. It kind of got annoying after a while. So it kind of, I don't know. The bacon thing is really annoying because I enjoy bacon. And even I jumped on the bacon bandwagon for a while. But for me, shaving, I kind of enjoy shaving. That's my problem. Is like, as much as it's a nuisance, it's also kind of like one of those things. It's kind of a ritual, right? Like,
You monster.
I have an electric shaver. I've got one of the like trimmer electric shavers, and I like kind of like do the whole like, you know, grooming, and I also do a fair amount of manscaping. Not gonna lie, there are parts of my body that I would prefer not to have mountains of hair on, so I clean it up a bit. I feel like it's only fair. Let's talk about this for a minute. If you're a man and you expect your woman to be groomed a certain way, you better return the favor. We've all seen porn, right? How many hairy ass ball sacks have you seen in porn? None, right? Like, let's be realistic. It goes both ways, and I don't mind that. I appreciate it. I like the whole ritual of shaving and cleaning myself up. I'm just saying.
Okay. All right.
I don't mind shaving, and I actually kind
You're wrong, but all right.
We respect your decision, even if it is wrong.
Bollocks eggs. These balls are smooth as eggs. That's it's a good reference. I like it. But I don't know. As much as shaving can be a hassle, I also kind of enjoy the ritual of it.
Yeah,
Also,
I get where you're coming from.
like, it's something that nobody has to do, right? But we as a species have decided that it looks better if we groom certain parts of our body, and it's kind of, I don't know.
Well, I feel like that's the problem, right? That sometimes this thing is enforced on people. Like, some people do have to shave for their job, or it's not a choice anymore. You hear me?
Yeah. I don't know.
Like usually I shave when I'm about to go to like an accounting interview. I'm like, oh, gotta be clean shaven.
Yeah.
Might do my hair up a bit. But that's like a whole ritual. Like, I already got to put on fancier clothes, nice shoes.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm torn on this one. I am.
One of us. One.
I like because shaving can be fun though. Because like you can
go bacon, because then you'll be wrong. It'd be funnier that way.
Yeah, I feel like I might be on the like. I agree with Meshyf that bacon in and of itself is not the issue. It's like the whole bacon bandwagon of having all things bacon. Like, let's just stick to the basics. So I think that's why I tend to. I don't know. I think I might go with bacon on this one, and I'm probably going to be wrong.
Definitely.
But
Odds are not stacked in your favor this time around.
that's the thing is I love bacon in its purest form. And I agree with Meshyf that it has been tainted. It has been memeified. It has been overused. It has been over like saturated with all this fucking like bacon soap and blah blah blah. Like, why can't we just appreciate bacon for what it is without injecting it into everything else? And I think that's why it's such a frustrating thing for me. And so I think I agree with him. I like it. It just resonates with me that like, knock it off. Just enjoy bacon for what it is. So for that reason, I think I might go with the bacon one.
All right.
So I'm gonna go with bacon. You guys are going with shaving.
I mean, I don't have anything else to say. I mean, I feel like bacon's yummy. I agree with everything he said, but you don't go forcing people to shave. You know, let your hair grow, let it roam free.
All right. I know how much Meshyf hates shaving for his job. So I think you guys might be on his side this time.
Yes. All right.
By the way, it is Movember. So
this is true.
It is.
Oh shit! I didn't mean to hit play. I'm at what are you guys at? 3:45.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, let's get to the bottom of this. Let me switch to my media view here. When you guys are ready, we'll do it on go. 1, 2, 3, go.
And we're back. Did you get it? Did you get it right? Do you know the biggest beef of the week? It is shaving. Shaving is the biggest beef of the week because
We
it's
know it.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's
Called it,
optional,
Jimmy, but you
and
had to
employers
go
shouldn't be
against
able to
it.
control whether you shave or not. I'm not saying you could look crazy, but we're spending tons of time, money, and energy on shaving that we could be spent doing other things that don't impact us in this way. Now, if you want to
Exactly.
shave, if you don't want to grow a beard, it's fine. Go ahead. Don't do it. But for the rest of us, shaving, you're the biggest beef of the week.
Yeah, preach it.
I love how Meshyf says, "You're always wrong, Jimmy. You were egging me on in chat this whole time. Don't even fucking act like I saw your messages like bacon emotes and try bacon toothpaste. You'll hate it. You were intentionally trying to get me to go with the wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Love it.
don't fucking act
was
like you
priming
didn't.
ya.
Yeah, you were priming the pump, sir. I blame you."
Worth it.
He was, yeah, I'm leaning on you a bit. I know what you were doing. I'm not stupid. But, so that was Sheefs Beef. Yeah, no, shaving is bullshit too. Like, especially if it's required for a job. I totally understand what he's saying. I guess the reason it's not a bigger beef for me currently is because my employer, I don't have a dress code at I work for a software company, and I could come in with a beard down to my knees and sweatpants, and they don't give a shit as long as I get my work done. So
Yeah.
for me personally, it's not as big of a beef in my life, but I could see how someone who's in a position like Meshyf could have that as a legitimate beef.
Mm-hmm.
Larry,
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about you went to PAX Australia.
Oh, yes.
I'm really interested to hear your experience at PAX Australia. I've never been to PAX. I've always wanted to go to PAX. I remember when they started PAX. For those who don't know, PAX is Penny Arcade Expo. I've been a fan of Penny Arcade since it was like a shitty webcomic like 10 years ago, before PAX was ever a thing. And I've always wanted to go to PAX, and it started in Seattle, and since then they've expanded to like PAX West, PAX East, PAX Australia. It's become a legitimate thing, and so it's something that I've always wanted to go to. I went to TwitchCon. It's the first time I've ever been to a big con like that, but I can't imagine like what PAX Australia must have been like. So I'd love to hear your experiences at PAX Australia.
Oh, it was great. Like everything you could imagine it to be, and more, right? So like you said, it started out as this Penny Arcade thing, and it kind of grew over the years. But the convention I went to was just above and beyond what I could have expected it to be. Just everything gaming, right? So it's hard to put into perspective, but in Melbourne, the town that I live in Australia, it's one of the big cities here, and we have an exhibition center, and it has like multiple theaters, 2 big main theaters, 2 big warehouse type areas, just the whole shebang, right? And
Right.
Every single room, well, every single theater, so the 2 main theaters, all these rooms, all the warehouses were all running consecutively and all booked out for 3 days, this whole event. And so just to give you a bit of perspective on how big it really was, the lines out the front were like going down and around about 2 or 3 blocks, just a line just to get in in the morning. It was insane. And much like any other convention that you might go to, there was heaps of cosplay, just everything. I don't know what else. So there was like the main area, which was like modern gaming, the main warehouse, and it was set out in kind of split up into stalls, and people were showing off different things. So you had like a Fortnite booth, you had a Ubisoft, you had Nintendo was there, all the big major players, and
Right.
just showcasing everything, all the new games and everything like that. Then they had like an indie section with a bunch of indie games, and you could go around and talk to the indie devs, and they would showcase their games. And then beyond that, they had another warehouse, and it had like all tabletop gaming. So they had a bunch of miniatures, they had like dice and things like that you could buy. But then they also had board games and just everything you could think of. And even more from that, they had a VR section where you could go and you could like try out all new VR games. Then they had like
Did you do that?
section.
Did you do some VR?
I didn't get, the lines were a bit long for the VR, so
yeah, definitely.
I didn't get a chance.
Everyone
But I would have
does
loved
VR
to. I did try one VR indie game, which was pretty great.
Nice.
I've forgotten the name. The name escapes me, but it was pretty cool. It was like a VR tabletop type game, and you got to make choices and move around the little people. It was pretty cool. But yeah, and then they had like old school retro arcade areas. So they had old school pinball machines and arcade machines, and they had just rows and rows of monitors and TVs, and you could play like the old Commodore 64s and Nintendos and Segas and just everything. It was insane. Yeah, so just amazing. Just my people, right? Just the nerdiest of the nerds. It was, I loved it. And then, but beyond that, what I enjoyed the most was the people you got to meet in much the similar way to the way TwitchCon had. There was actually a Twitch booth, and there was lots of Twitch people. So I got to meet some people. That was good. And then they had these theaters where they would have like big shows and stuff, like cosplay competitions and Q&As. And just everything all happening all at once. It was so overwhelming, but so exciting and great at the same time. Yeah, I mean, I could go on forever, but it was just everything you can imagine to do with pop culture, gaming, nerd culture in general, just was there, and it was great.
Sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, I feel like that was kind of our experience, like what you said about everything happening at once. I feel like, I don't know if you felt this way about PAX, but like, because James and I, we were at TwitchCon together, and it just felt like there was so much going on, and there was like people we wanted to meet and panels, and like, you know, it was overwhelming. It's like there's so much that I want to do, and there's just literally not enough time to do everything.
Was TwitchCon, was that over the weekend, or was it just one day?
No, it's a 3-day convention.
It is 3 days.
Yeah, it's Friday,
3 days.
Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
I'd love to come over to TwitchCon, but maybe not next year, but the year after, I think I'm planning to come over then.
Yeah, dude, come hang out. Well, here's the thing, though. I feel like they've gotten to the point where they may have to do what PAX has done. Because eventually, like, PAX was just, there was only PAX, right? It was in Seattle, and it was the only PAX. And then it got so big and it started selling out, and there was enough demand that people are like, hey, we need to have a PAX East. And so eventually they announced PAX East. And then from there, it just like kept expanding and expanding. Now there's PAX Australia, there's PAX. I feel like TwitchCon is going to become that. I think eventually it's going to get to the point where like there's not, like, it's always been in California as far as I know.
Yes,
but
I thought it moved around each year.
It does
move around in California.
It moved around
California.
within California. Like it's been in
Yeah.
Long Beach, and you know, it's been.
I don't know geography.
Barbara.
Yeah, it's been in a few
all
different
the very
cities.
rich coastal areas.
Yeah,
Okay.
all the rich coastal areas, exactly. But I think with it selling out as quickly as it did this year, and like how saturated it's become, eventually they're gonna have to create. I mean, they're gonna have to do like a PAX East at least.
Well,
And
I heard that the partner section for the Twitch, they had to like start turning people away because there wasn't
They
enough
did,
room.
yeah.
Yeah, the partner party.
Which
They
is
Sold out all the
me.
tickets, so it's like everybody was there.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty phenomenal. Well, yeah, it's like because the rumors I heard when I was there was like, oh, because I was chatting to some staff. I was with TheSushiDragon. And it's like the plan was, oh, they're gonna look for an even bigger convention center next year. But at some point they're not gonna find a bigger place. And that's when they're gonna have to make that decision, like, all right, we have to split it. We can have one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast. Because I do know there's a lot of people that come from the East Coast and further. So that would help out a lot as well. But they're probably just like, oh, we don't want to split it just yet.
Do you feel like this is something that's going to happen within the next 1 or 2 years, or maybe not?
At the rate Twitch is growing, maybe maybe 2 years.
Yeah. Eventually it's got to happen. Because, like, you know, we talked about this before. Like, there is an inordinately large amount of streamers from, like, the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just do a Midwest TwitchCon and it would probably sell out. Like, a lot of the people that I know, like, some of my favorite streamers are from the Midwest. You know, we, like, when we had that episode, we talked all about it on the episode with Chris and Josh. There's a lot of people. It's a huge trip for them to make it all the way over to California to go to TwitchCon. So I think that's where it'll start, right? Like, there will be a Twitch West and a Twitch East. I think that's the first step. But then from there, once they realize, oh shit, like, both of these sold pretty well, like, I think it's going to be similar to PAX, where they're going to realize that there's enough demand out there. As Twitch, like you said, Twitch is growing. You know, when Ninja's, right before TwitchCon happened, Ninja was on the cover of ESPN magazine, right?
On the Ellen show.
Yeah, so it's not like it's gonna go down. If anything, it's gonna go up significantly. The more and more people that become aware of Twitch is just gonna continue to grow. So that, like, one convention, I don't think is gonna be enough, and hopefully they're smart enough to realize that that's gonna happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah. They won't be, but yeah, I agree that it's gonna happen at some point.
So, I don't know. We'll see. I hope that it stays in California, though, because I'm selfish and I live in California.
Yeah,
right. To drive up. Gotta take a flight across the country.
I just gotta drive a couple miles, and I'm right there. So, you know. Hopefully PAX West stays in California. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
But if if Twitch Australia ever happens, that'll give me an excuse to go to Australia.
Yeah, definitely. Come hang out, man.
I'll come sleep on Larry's couch.
Oh yeah. Plenty of room. I'm a small guy, it's fine.
Yeah, no, well, I'll cuddle up with your fuzzy ass.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Love it.
So let's talk about, since we're talking about conventions, I feel like this is a good time for us to talk about BlizzCon.
Oh yes.
There was some good news and some not so good news. Well, I mean, I guess
there were some happy people and there were some very unhappy people.
But how real is the controversy, though? Because, like, I don't know. Like, well, so first of all, the good things that happened, everyone's super stoked. I got a guy at my work who is just, like, jizzing his pants about the fact that World of Warcraft Classic, like WoW Classic, is about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people who have, like, very fond memories of, like, early World of Warcraft. And they're just super stoked about these WoW Classic servers and the whole WoW Classic experience. So, I don't know. I never played WoW, so I guess I don't relate. But I have one coworker who, like, talked my ear off for 30 minutes about how WoW Classic is like.
It's the game changer.
Yeah, I mean, I played a little bit of WoW back in the vanilla days. And it was good. I enjoyed it at the time, but I'm not one of those people that has all the nostalgia and stuff like that. But yeah, I can understand why people would want them, and I think maybe they had some unauthorized like servers up, and they were taken down, so they feel like they were owed something now.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of unauthorized like WoW Classic servers out there, and they've been pretty vigilant about shutting those down. But there's obviously a demand, right? So
exactly.
And it's kind of cool that they did like. If you have a current WoW subscription, WoW Classic is included in that subscription, so it's not going to be any additional cost. So that,
well, I feel like there would have been some sort of backlash if they yeah,
true.
Another $15 on top.
And then
right.
And then along with that, there was an announcement for a new Overwatch character. I don't know if Meshyf is still here, but I was really hoping it was the robot. There was so much tease in that video, in that trailer, and there was just like, it could be this guy, or it could be this character, or it could be this character, and then it ended up being Ashe, which was like,
oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I like Bob better. Well, I mean, Bob is her ult, right? Isn't that what it is? Her ult is she summons Bob.
Mm-hmm. Pretty interesting from what I've seen so far. Because I was talking to my friend Fishy, the Grandmaster, and he was like, she's the perfect counter to Brigitte. I love her. And I was like, oh, okay. I see where she fits in now.
I like that she can kind of... She has like a mini rocket jump with her gun too, which like... I don't know. She's got like a certain amount of mobility, plus just like, I don't know. I kind of like her style. It reminds me of Quake, just like her quick kind of play style. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, immediately everyone was like, it's the force of nature from TF2.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. But it's very, I don't know. I guess some people were disappointed that it's just like another cowboy character in female form. But
I saw a lot of memes where they like overlapped Widowmaker and Ashe and then put an opacity slider. So it was like they have the same face.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just the Blizzard same face syndrome.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But is she available on the can you play her on the
PTR?
PTR?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you know what people are saying so far? Is there any?
I've heard they like that she just like destroys Brigitte because it's the dynamite. People were like really hyped about, like, oh, what does the dynamite do? Because it's you toss it, you can shoot it to blow it up instantly, and it does like a ton of damage in an AoE.
Okay.
And then it does some burn damage along with it. So it deals like 190 damage. So, like, if you get poked and that hits you, you're going to die. Unless you have a healer directly on you. So people are like, it might be too strong. But they're thinking it's, like, good enough just to, like, make Brigitte not such, like, a... What's the word? Like, optimal pick? Like, because everyone is running her in the comps now because you're just, like, so versatile for shutting down, like, dive comps.
Okay. So, do you know, this is a question I had, and because I haven't played it yet, I don't know how. So, does Bob act as a physical entity, like as a character?
Yes.
Like, can I throw Bob on a point to hold the point while I go flank the enemy type thing?
You can.
Okay.
Bob, you can heal Bob. So it's basically you ult, you just point him in the direction. He runs, he charges in a spot, knocks all the enemies he encounters up, and then he becomes a Torbjorn turret. Except he has like 2,000 HP, and you can heal him. He counts as a character on the payload, on the capture point, everything. So he basically counts as a hero for all intents and purposes.
Okay. So
I mean, that sounds pretty cool to me. That sounds pretty cool to me. I don't know why people are complaining. That sounds like they made the right choices. They assessed the situation, and I think they did good. So I'm hyped. I don't know about everyone else.
I'm sure it'll need some balancing.
Well, like anything, right?
Yeah,
they always nerf it a bit, so it's fine.
Anytime you introduce a completely new dynamic into a game, it's going to require a certain amount of balance. But overall, it sounds like a pretty fun new character with some interesting mechanics and dynamics that don't currently exist. So I feel like
they are going to add the robot as a playable character, but she's not going to be the next one, but she's coming.
Yeah, they did
What they
hint
said.
at that for sure.
Sweet.
I feel like they've done a pretty good job at keeping things fresh with the new characters, right? Like the whole hamster ball mechanic is just like so different than anything else in the game, right? And then, Ashe with the whole like her ult that summons a new character, like I don't know. I feel like each character has something very unique and fresh and interesting that keeps things.
No, nobody will ever replace McCree. Just saying. Just that. Sorry, I know. I just saw that. I had to respond.
McCree is just he's so cool in character, but then he just doesn't do enough.
Yeah, right. It's okay. I still love him.
Yeah. And then the big daddy controversy of BlizzCon.
The best reveal?
Yeah.
Diablo Immortal. Immortals? Immortal? Is it plural or?
I think it's just singular.
Yeah,
So
Here.
they announced a mobile Diablo game. And a lot of people were not happy about it because it's been a long time since anything new has come out of the Diablo universe. And people were really hoping for something more. Because, we knew that they were working. If you've been following them closely, you knew they were working on something mobile related. And we also knew that they were working on the whole Netflix thing.
Mm-hmm.
But people were still hopeful that there was going to be some like big reveal about Diablo. Because it's been almost it's been like 8 or 9 years since like a major title release for the Diablo universe.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly there is a Diablo 4 or something else in the works, but none of that was announced at Twitch. The only thing that was announced at Twitch is, hey, we're coming out with a mobile game, and it's going to tell the history of what happens between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. And a lot of people were like, what the fuck?
Is this a late April Fool's joke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole meme that, what, you guys don't have phones? I don't know. So here's my take on it. Am I disappointed that they didn't announce a Diablo game? Sure. Are they going to announce it? They're not going to give up on the Diablo franchise. They're probably working on some kick-ass shit. So I'm not, on the other hand, as a adult 35-year-old man who hardly has time to play the 500 games in my Steam library as it is, am I kind of excited about a mobile game that I can play on the shitter and on my 15-minute breaks at work and on my in-between times here and there? I have a smartphone. And I already signed up for the beta. I'm sorry, but I'm actually kind of excited. If here's my deal. This is a big if. If the game is a complete Diablo experience, and if they don't feed me a shit ton of ads, and if they don't microtransact my ass to oblivion, if I can spend $30 and unlock everything, if I can unlock the zero ad experience or whatever, if I can just buy the full blown mobile version and not have to watch ads or open loot boxes and shit, count me in. Yeah. If they're going to give me the mobile treatment that most mobile games have, where every 20 minutes I'm watching an ad and that's my concern, is that you
can't enter this instance because you are out of energy.
Yeah.
To gain 10 energy.
If they adopt the mobile ecosystem and try and inject that into Diablo, I will be frustrated. If I can buy the game straight out and just play it, I'll be happy. That's kind of the big if for me. I really don't want to have ads injected into my Diablo experience. And then there was on The only other thing was like there was a meme on Reddit where he was like right in the middle of like fighting a boss or whatever, and then it was like diddle doo diddle doo diddle doo doo, and it's like call from mom, and it's like oh, well fuck,
Whoops.
like that's even worse than lag, right? Like
Way to go, mom.
if you're in the middle of a
This is
raid
my
or
hardcore character.
I can't talk right now, mom.
yeah, exactly. So that's the only other thing is like interruptions, right, on your smartphone. But most smartphones now multitask pretty well, and you can just like swipe it out of the way and keep playing. But I just really worry about the whole ads and microtransactions that most mobile games have. So depending on how they handle that.
Well, I feel like that was the major concern with everybody, just the
Right.
the microtransactions especially. But you bring up a good point about the ads. I don't want a million ads interrupting my play. So an option to disable that would be nice. I don't mind paying for games. I don't mind paying for mobile apps and things if it's a one-off transaction and it, allows me to access the rest of the game.
And if it's a good game.
Yeah. In fact, I'd prefer to pay for a game or an app or whatever if, it's going to give me the full experience.
I just don't see why they couldn't make it cross-platform. Like, I love, like Eternal, for example, the card game, or Hearthstone. Like, I can play it on my phone, and then I can go back to, and I can log in, and, like, it's the same progress, right? Like, whether I play it on my PC or my phone, I can make progress. It's not a whole separate thing. So, like, hopefully maybe they think about that. Because, I guess you can use BlueStacks or whatever, so you could play it on your PC. But it'd be kind of cool if it was cross-platform to the point where I could just be like, I can grind on my phone, and then when I go home, I can jump on my PC and like continue to play the game.
Well, that's something else they announced, didn't they? Wasn't there like Diablo for the Switch or something like that?
Well, that's Diablo 3 though. That's a completely different game.
Okay.
So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe they'll merge them all together at some point in the future, but
I mean, at this point, all games should be cross-platform, but it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
It just comes down to licensing, I think, and the companies being selfish.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to consoles, they're like,
Yeah.
we need to give people a reason to buy our console. So if the game you can play it anywhere else, it's like they're probably going to choose the one they already have instead of coming to ours.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a difficult one.
I don't know. That being said, I've been really I finally got a new phone. I've been out of the loop on mobile games. So I got a new phone, and I off stream I've been asking James and Meshyf and so what are some good mobile games to play? Because I've tried to look around, and it seems like there's not really, I don't know. It's a very strange ecosystem.
Yeah.
And I don't want to watch a ton of ads, but I do want to play some fun games. I have a few Humble Bundle mobile collections that I've accumulated, and those are nice because there's zero ads. It's like an actual purchased game. So I've been playing through some of those, but I've been really trying to find some fun mobile games to play. And it seems like a lot of them are either super casual or they're just jam-packed with ads and microtransactions.
You know what I don't mind with mobile games is when they give you the option to watch an ad in exchange for, it's not like a necessity, but you get the option to watch an ad for some, I don't know, some
type of currency or perk or something. Yeah. But it's optional, right?
It's an option, yeah. And then
Right.
I don't mind. I'll sit there and spam a few ads if it gets me some sweet loot or something.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't got to look at it. You're just like, oh, nice. I'll watch the ad, set the phone down, do whatever you're doing.
Got to get that loot.
Because a lot of phone games, it's like, it's either super casual, like you said, or it's like the game is behind a bunch of timers and stuff and like paywalls. So it's really hard to find something that's like a complete like experience on the phone.
Right. Yeah, I'm hoping. I haven't tried it yet, but Meshyf was talking about Rivals, CNC Rivals, but it's like apparently it's in beta or alpha or something, so I haven't been able to check it out yet. And so that along with Diablo, along with like Eternal and maybe Hearthstone, and then people were saying that like MTGA they'd like to see it on mobile, but the problem is that
games are pretty long.
Well, and the screen real estate, like they were saying that like Hearthstone is different because it's fairly like with MTGA, there's a point where you could have like a huge span of cards on the table, right? And that's really hard to represent in a mobile platform. So I don't know. I want to get into mobile gaming, but the ecosystem is a little bit strange for me. It's very foreign.
You wanna start playing Summoner's War?
No. No. Do you play Summoner's War?
It's got me in its grass.
No.
Because I play with a lot of the Minion Masters guys. Gamer got us all like addicted to it. So now he'll message me like every few hours, James, do your guild battles. Or he'll be like, do you need help? I'll tell you which monsters you need to use, which ones you can hit. Recently, the most deep I got in it with them was like the week before TwitchCon. He messaged me. He's like, James, are you free right now? I was like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, well, we're the what's it called? The runes that you equip to your monsters, it's going to be free tomorrow because it's free once a month. He's like, so you're going to download these programs. We're going to tell you, you're going to screen share your phone through Discord so we can see it. We're going to go through like 300 of your runes, tell you which ones to sell, which ones to keep. And then using the programs I told you to download, the third-party apps, we're going to optimize your monster's builds very specifically to output the maximum performance.
Oh my gosh.
And
That's so much work, dude, for a phone game.
Yeah, that sounds like work.
But then after I did that, I was like, holy shit, my monsters are insane. They're so powerful now. So it's like, if you're casual like I was, just like, oh, I'll put this and that. It's like, oh, the content's like pretty difficult. But then after I did that, I was like, oh, I'm actually like going through the content now. But it's so much extra work. Because on the surface, it's just like a very simple RPG. Like you get your 4 monsters, you can PvP other people, you can do real time if you want. But then it goes so deep where you're like, right now, all I've been doing this month is grinding runes. And that's it. Just because gamers like, all right, so by the end of the month, you should have enough runes so your monsters can actually be equipped and they can do other stuff. It's just like once you get through one tier of grinding, there's another tier behind it. So it's just grinding to do more grinding. But it's so easy because you just open it up and you're like, auto. And then I don't even look at it. And then it's like, oh, done. Redeem, do it again. And that's like the entire gameplay loop.
Wow.
But then once you're in it, you keep looking at the numbers and you're like, I need better runes.
Gotta keep chasing that dragon, right?
I do. See, that's the thing too. You get monsters by opening these. It's basically loot boxes, and it's like, oh, there's a chance of a 3 to a 5 here. 5s are the super rare. I've been playing for like 6 months now. I've only gotten 3 nat 5s.
Oh wow!
And those are like.
I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like a lot of games like they have these rare things that are like legendary or rare, and like. But if you spam it enough, you're gonna get them. I like the idea of being like only a select few people have this or something. I like really exclusive content. I feel like we'll get to do that. That's
kind of what keeps me in it, is the fact that it is like kind of exclusive. There's no like, oh, if I drop $100 or so, I'm guaranteed to get something. It's like, no, you use what you have, because even though you might not have these nat 5 stars, like your nat 3s are probably pretty good. And like I got lucky early on. I got a set. They're twins, a boomerang warrior and a chakram dancer. And they're like, if you're lucky enough to get those 2, they synergize super well, and it makes a ton of stuff easy. But then it's also like, oh, it keeps you in more. You're like, oh, now I have this really good stuff.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
So much potential, so much power.
And it has a pretty big scene too. Like there's a whole pro circuit. There's sponsored players. It's like
It sounds amazing. I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds amazing.
Once you're in it,
it's the cocaine of mobile gaming.
Yeah,
it really
right.
is. It helps that the game is actually actually enjoyable.
Here's a free sample. Just try a bump. Just try. just give it a taste. I promise.
That's why. Especially all the free shit they keep giving me. It's like, oh, you want more energy so you can keep grinding? Here you go. Oh, we got another event this week so you can get some more rewards. And I'm like, give it to me. And then 3 hours later, all I've been doing is like staring at my phone doing these events. And it's like, it's a problem.
This is your life now. This is it.
James, I'm concerned about you.
I've only spent $20.
This is an intervention.
Perfect.
We didn't want to like bring it up, but you brought it up yourself, so I feel like we need to have the talk.
It's time for the talk, James.
That's right.
Time for you to take a step back and reanalyze your choices.
Oh, I know. What's the sunk cost fallacy? I'm in too deep. I can't just get rid of it now.
You're such an accountant.
But a good one, right? So it's fine.
Of course.
Hey, we got to end soon, but I did want to throw a couple things out there that recently showed up on my radar, and I was kind of excited about. I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm going to switch to media view here.
Ooh, what could it be?
They have recently announced that it's been rumored, but it is official. They're working on a Breaking Bad movie.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I don't know if you guys heard about this.
I have. No, I heard rumors of it.
There are rumors, but apparently
grapevine.
It's been somewhat confirmed.
I feel like that's a bad idea, right?
Well, I don't know.
It.
Because the Better Call Saul spinoff is actually really good.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that yet.
But I have heard good things.
It's really good. I've been watching it, and Vince Gilligan is involved. If Vince Gilligan wasn't involved, then I would be concerned.
Yeah,
but Vince Gilligan is the original creator and writer of Breaking Bad. So
okay, but what direction are we talking here? Are we talking just they're gonna pick up from where it left off, or
from what I understand, there was already rumors of a show about a guy who's on the run who goes to New Mexico, and so people were like already kind of speculating about like, oh wait, well they're from New Mexico and Jesse. So if it picks up right where the show left off, right? So Walt is dead and Jesse is on the run.
Dead.
And so does he go back to New Mexico and it picks up where it left off, right? Like, so I don't know. But supposedly
I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna watch it either way. But I don't know. I feel like it was kind of perfect how it was, and it's one of those things. Is it worth the risk ruining it? I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is they've already done Better Call Saul, and I feel like they've proven that they can continue to create content in that universe without fucking up what they already have.
Okay, so if it's enough of a departure from the main storyline, I feel like if they just picked up and it's just like Jesse's story now, that's not gonna work. I don't think that's the right move. Maybe if it's more like with Better Call Saul, how it's in the universe, but it's its own thing. That might be all right.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, it sounds like it is more. It's less rumor and more reality. Like this, like within the last couple of days, some new stuff has come out, and they're like, "Yeah, it's
oh wow, exciting!
It could be happening." Also, just during this podcast, LarryIRL posted that Jeopardy just got put onto Netflix. I don't know if anybody cares as much as LarryIRL does about this, but she is a huge Jeopardy junkie.
Ooh, so she's very
okay.
Like I let me find her message. Is that what she said? Was it Netflix? A couple people in chat were really excited about it, but
Yeah, I believe she said Netflix.
dude, there's so many. I wonder how they'll handle that because there's a lot of episodes of Jeopardy. How many seasons of Jeopardy are there? Like, are they going to release the seasons slowly, or did they just drop like 50 seasons of Jeopardy on Netflix all of a sudden? I don't know. I'd be willing to go back and watch that just for the Ken Jennings episodes. Is anyone familiar with Ken Jennings?
I mean, I didn't follow Jeopardy that much, so I feel like I'm out of the loop here.
So, to give you, before we end this podcast, to give you a brief history, previously on Jeopardy, they had a rule that you could only win. So, like when someone wins, they can go to the next episode, right? But they had a rule where you could only win like X amount of episodes in a row. Like they had a rule where like, hey, you can't, like, this is the max amount of times you can come back and continue to win. They got rid of that rule. They were like, no, so we're going to change it up, make it more interesting. If someone's good enough, they can just keep on winning. They got rid of the rule that there was a limit to how many times you could win Jeopardy.
Okay.
Shortly after they changed that, this guy came on. He was Mormon, and he was a super smart dude. And I only know he was Mormon because everyone in the Mormon community, like I was still Mormon at the time before I left the church. Everyone was like, oh, Ken Jennings. This Mormon dude comes on and he just starts fucking cleaning house. Like he won, I forget how many episodes in a row he won, but like the dude just was unstoppable. The only topics he had trouble with that he had to like legit study up on were the topics relating to alcohol.
Oh wow! Okay.
Because he was Mormon, right?
Yeah, okay.
So he was, like he's done interviews since then, and he was like, "Oh yeah," so like I had to like spend some time learning about like, you know, mixed drinks and the different types of drinks and alcohol and
How
stuff.
did he research this? I hope it was just a lot of drinking.
Of course. You gotta get that hands-on experience.
Experience. But no, like Ken Jennings is like the longest running champion of Jeopardy ever of all times. Like look him up. His name is, you know, Ken Jennings. And he's like touted as like one of the greatest Jeopardy, like the amount of knowledge that dude has is insane. And it was really fun to watch him week after week after week just like shit on all the competition and just like
74 games.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't like a few weeks. It was like for months. This guy was just dominating Jeopardy until he finally lost. And I feel like he may have finally just lost on purpose. I think he just got tired of it and he's like, I've got millions of dollars now. I'm done.
Yeah,
like
I got shit to do, man.
Total earnings of 3.2 million.
Yep. Yeah, Ken Jennings, like eventually, Lady Navio said that they've only dropped a couple seasons so far, but if they continue to drop more seasons, like I really hope that they drop the Ken Jennings time period because I would love to rewatch some of those episodes. Wanted to go home, yeah. He's like, I'm done. It's like no more Jeopardy for me. He went on to be on a bunch of other game shows just because he like his fame that he garnered from being on Jeopardy made him kind of a trivia celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's really interesting. I don't know. I found it fascinating, but that's my rant about Jeopardy. So it's on Netflix now. Hopefully they release more seasons in the future. Even though Alex Trebek seems like kind of an asshole. He seems like a snarky dude, but it has officially been 2.5 hours.
Oh wow!
Yeah, flies right by, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's always a surprise, especially to guests when I'm like, "Hey, we've been talking for 3 hours."
Yeah, no, I didn't feel like that.
Yeah. So, Larry, is there anything else that you want to... Now's your chance. You've got the spotlight.
Yes.
Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to promote?
No, I mean, my name is Larry. I'm a Twitch guy. I play games on Twitch. That's my thing. And yeah, you can check me out. Larry in real life or LarryIRL on all the social media. yeah, that's me.
Awesome.
That's my
James,
plug.
anything?
Not
Any
really.
final words? Any final questions?
No, nothing to plug this week.
All right, man. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much, Larry. Literally, it was super last minute. I think it was like Sunday or
Oh, it
Monday.
was.
Mhm.
And we were just like, "Hey, you want to be on the podcast?" And he was like, a credit to you for being super gung ho, for being willing to do it, just like on the
Oh, it's
fly,
fine.
last minute. Like, I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been fun. I've had a really great time. It was amazing. So thank you.
I like
thanks for being
what
on.
yeah, I like what you're doing, and we may have to talk about some D&D stuff, or
Oh yeah.
we may have to
definitely.
have you back, like as a reoccurring. We'll have Sheefs Beef and
Larry's life lessons.
Larry's life lessons. There it
There
is.
we go.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah, we did it.
We're gonna make it
You had to
happen,
be
dude.
alive.
So be prepared for more from Larry, because I like what you got going on, man.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys are great. This has really been a joy.
So this will go up probably on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. We usually try and get it up by Thursday night, Friday morning. So look forward to that. And go check him out. Twitch.tv/LarryIRL. He's also on
That's me.
Twitter, Instagram, YouTube
that's
as
good
well,
stuff.
right?
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing, right? So I'm just gonna quickly throw this in. I hope you don't mind.
No,
But YouTube, it bugs me, right? Because I want to keep all my links uniform,
Mhm.
but YouTube, please, if you could do anything, just subscribe to my YouTube, because I have this stupid URL which is like the whole alphabet, and it's
Yeah,
kind
you
of
can't change it
impossible.
until you like reach a threshold.
Yeah, it's impossible
Really
to change until I reach that 100 threshold. I don't know what I'm on now, but please, if you could do anything for me, you don't even have to watch it. Just please subscribe to my YouTube. But yeah, all my social media, I've got all the links everywhere. It's fine. So you can just search it, Google me. That's
well,
the
hey,
thing.
when we post this video on YouTube, we usually put all the links in the description.
Oh,
so
sweet.
we'll make sure we get people to the right place. If you're interested in what Larry's doing, you want to check him out, we will have the links for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Have a good night, everyone. And I think we're gonna go the Uncle Joe show. One of our favorite friends to raid on Wednesday night. He is live
yes.
right now, so we're gonna go check out some Uncle Joe show. Larry, if you want to stick around and chat for a second,
Yeah.
after the podcast ends, we'll do a couple quick pictures for the promotional stuff. And hope you guys have a good night. Thank you for being here. And
Thanks everybody for stopping by.
yeah, we'll have more to come. I have we got some guests lined up in the next few weeks, and I'm super excited about it. So good night, everyone, and farewell.